Hey folks, KILT-MAN here, KILT-MAN at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, we've got some more bad news. April the 1st was yesterday, and we got the news, sadly, that we lost Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer, Iceman, Batman, and so many other fantastic roles, which we're going to discuss right now. At the age of 65, he was born in LA, he died in LA. His daughter, Mercedes, broke the news. He died of pneumonia. 65 years old. That's nothing. That's 10 years older than me. In fact, in a couple of months' time, it'll be 9 years older than me. Doesn't bode well, does it, folks? A troubled yet enormously talented actor. He then, in the 2015, he was diagnosed with throat cancer. Although he denied it quite a lot. His religion was part of the reason why he denied it. He's like, no, you don't acknowledge things like this. He then had to come out with the whole thing. But throat cancer. He had 2 tracheotomies. He had chemotherapy several times, I think. And because of that, he lost his voice. And other complications ensued as well. But, and here's the rub, folks. He was getting better. He was getting over it all. The cancer was defeated by all accounts. And he was regaining a lot more of his voice. We saw him in Top Gun Maverick using his own voice. And Iceman had the same condition that the real life Val Kilmer had. And Tom Cruise championed and won him in here. And it's a great touching final sequence for the two of them. When you think about it, in Top Gun, Iceman's only a very small supporting character, but he actually does steal a lot of the limelight from Tom Cruise's teeth. He's there, he's better looking, he's bigger, he's cooler. And he definitely is Iceman. That's how he flies, ice cool, he's got you. But he was getting better. And although divorced from Joanne Whalley Kilmer, the Kilmer part obviously came adrift. But he had a son and a daughter. And but way back in I think 2019, maybe the start of 2020, just before lockdown began, he got in touch with like a company in London who with AI. Yes, the thing we're all meant to be genuinely fearing. Skynet! It's AI. Simple as. We're all doomed. And what they did with AI, earlier sort of versions of AI, they took recordings of his voice from different movies and performances and interviews, all different inflections, and they worked out, look, we've got enough recordings of all the nuances of your voice that now you can operate this and speak. So, even though in Top Gun Maverick, that's his own voice, his own his gravelly, gruff voice as it was then, and a struggle for him to do it. He had the means now to make movies again, and he wanted to make movies again. Yes, he was not liked by a lot of people within the industry because of the way he was, which we're going to come on to. He was an angsty, agitated, not a method actor, but he got massively into a character, but he also could be very argumentative, very hostile on set, and cause a lot of issues, which, as I say, we're going to talk about some of those. But his talent, when it shone through, was brilliant, and he'd reached a bit of maybe a détente with himself. He'd gone through all of the Hollywood rigmarole, and then he'd gone through horrible, horrendous illness, and then was beginning to bounce back. And he had a project in mind. He had a long time fascination with Mark Twain. He'd actually done a one-man show on stage about a facet of Mark Twain's character, a real life story, not a fictional thing. And he wanted to get that off the ground as a movie. He was going to write it, produce it, and direct it. This is only the last few years. I've got my voice machine now, but I can do this. I'm getting my confidence back. I can do this. never got off the ground, did it? And sadly now he dies, not of throat cancer, but of pneumonia. Pneumonia. Yeah, it's a real bad sickness, folks. And it's one of those where Val Kilmer, I mean, I knew things about his illness and how he was only little drip feed stuff would come through. He's got plans for coming back into movies. Oh, that's great. He's wonderful. I like him in movies. He always lights up the screen. He has such a screen charisma that, you know, even if he's a sideline character, he will still burn through the celluloid and become something that you remember. Cheers, y'all, and cheers, Val. I'm sorry it's nothing strong, it's just tea. I've already had some whiskey beforehand, and I raised a couple of those to him. But he was going to come back, write, produce, direct, and star in this. And his dream project never actually happened. Ah, damn it. Don't you hate it when that's the end result? In many ways, the drive to do something which you're really invested in is great enough. It doesn't even actually have to happen. Sorry, there is a small cat leaping around here. You may see it at some point. She may interfere with some of the background stuff I had. Horribly, I had no canvases that had Val Kilmer on them, or any Val Kilmer movies at all. But I do have stuff from, you're hearing the soundtrack right now, Jerry Goldsmith, The Ghost in the Darkness, which we'll talk about. And I've got an entire set of modern lobby cards for it, which are brilliant. And a great big poster, but it's on a wall up in the attic. I couldn't bring that down. But I had nothing really to put there apart from Batman Forever and Batman Forever. I don't know if you can see that, the Batmobile, and the Batwing is there. So he was Batman as well. He was also the Saint. He was in many, many different movies. He was Jim Morrison in The Doors. Oliver Stone wanted him, and even though Oliver Stone had several other people lined up, you've got to take one of these guys, all the new blood in Hollywood. They can act, they can sing, they can dance, they can do all sorts, and they're good looking too. But no, this guy is the one we want. Wednesday is now stripping fare from an old historical Busby. Get off that. No, leave it alone. Look at this, folks. The bloody cat's just discovered it and started devouring it. That is worth a fair bit of tickety-boo, you know. But he could sing, he could act, and he could embody a character with such a three-dimensional investment that it was intimidating to people around him on set. Of course, Robbie Krieger from The Doors, the only one who actually wanted to work on this movie of the Doors biopic, the Jim Morrison biopic, really. It's a brilliant movie. He worked with Val Kilmer to show him, this is how he spoke, this is what he did, this is how he moved, this is what he wore. So he had to lose weight because those skinny leather jeans and all that, not easy to wear. Trust me, I know, I've tried. But he learned to sing. He invested thousands of his own money in doing an 8-minute demo tape to send to Oliver Stone. Say, look, I can do this. But Oliver Stone was like, I want you anyway, so don't worry about that. You're in. I've just got to convince everybody else now. And he sings all the songs, and he does have the mannerisms, the nuances, the expressions, the dazed, stoned look. He learns how to look stoned. Not Oliver Stoned, but just stoned. And sort of looking beyond and looking inwardly whilst being asked questions. And I've never been stoned in my life, but I know what people look like when they are and how they speak. And he nails it completely. And his voice is spot on. And with the hair as well. And his face, Val Kilmer's face, absolutely ultra good looking fella. Very strong jaw, the high cheekbones, which in later life he kind of went like me. The chubby face. I don't look like Val Kilmer. I'm not even going to make any pretense at that. But he went wider of face. And the thing is, he's part Cherokee, folks. He's part Cherokee. And a lot of Native Americans, their faces are broad, flatter, maybe a big blunt nose. But I'm not. This is not being derogatory. This is a look of, particularly the Sioux and the Cherokee, Arapaho. These have these same sort of faces, and he got that. The older he got, the more he resembled his own heritage. Of course, he would make a film called Thunderheart, based on a true incident, which is like the Wounded Knee, a sort of modern day Battle of Wounded Knee, where people were moved off the Wounded Knee reservation in modern times, and a couple of murders took place, and an FBI agent who was part Sioux. So they got Val Kilmer to play it, and he looks just like, he looks genuine. And in the film, he rediscovers his own bloodline, his own heritage, and he's kind of aggressive to begin with, hostile to the whole thing. I don't want to be put on this case just because I've got this heritage, but he learns to love where he came from. And it's a good slow burn movie, but you can see how look. This is what I'm part of. Okay, he was a Cherokee, not Sioux, but it still massively works. And he's great in the movie. He's great in everything. Even when he's been an absolute complete and utter shitbag behind the scenes, which sadly he was on a lot of movies. A lot of directors, a lot of other actors have testified just how difficult it was to work with him, and bullying, threats. I'm not sure about violence particularly, but he was aggressive and hostile to many people on set. He would be demanding, he'd be a bit of a diva, and he would be, I'm not going to work this day. I don't like these lines, I'm going to change these lines. Oh, can you just say the lines as they're written? But he's one of a unique breed of people, actors, like Oliver Reed, Richard Harris, Russell Crowe, God, so many, Robert Shaw, who they had a unique quality, a screen burning charisma, which melted an audience. No matter, they could be playing villains, they could be playing the most volatile of people, but you were still drawn to them. There was a chemistry which you could connect with, because he had that raw talent. And it's a director, it takes a really strong director to realise, I've got to allow this to happen. Richard Stanley, of course, for his long dreamt of take of The Island of Dr. Moreau, H.G. Wells. It's been filmed a couple of times before, and The Lost Souls, and then a 77 version with Michael York. And then Richard Stanley, Hardware, Dust Devil, Colour Out of Space, genius filmmaker. I can get this. And but he's met Val Kilmer a couple of times before, and he just said, there was a light around him. There was something about this guy. I know he could be trouble, but what he's got there, I need on film. And of course, that version of Dr. Moreau was an absolute catastrophe. The resulting film, which Richard Stanley got fired from it, people changed roles within the movie because of Val Kilmer. Lots of things happened. Weather was bad, everything was bad. People were leaving left, right, and centre, and Richard Stanley got fired from it. And they brought in John Frankenheimer, who managed to wrestle a film back together. And the fact that the film itself is still really super enjoyable, despite its really bad reputation, is testament to the singular vision of Richard Stanley, who got everything in place to begin with, and the great effects work from Stan Winston, great performances from the likes of David Thewlis, Marlon Brando to a degree, and of course Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer was meant to play the hero of the piece, but he said, no, I'm only going to work a certain amount of days. So well, that's not going to work then, is it? Because We need you. You've got to be in all these scenes. And like, well, no, I'm not going to do it. Right, well, we've got you. Because Richard Stanley said, like, I wanted you because your forceful nature, your power, your charisma, you know, I want you. You've got talent and you're going to burn through this movie. Okay, I still want you. Or swap your role. You can play another character who's not in as much. If you can do your shortened day list of filming, you can do that, play this other character, and then we'll get David Thewlis to play the main guy. Okay, we'll do that. We'll work with it. But even then, Val Kilmer was really super awkward to work with, and very volatile, threatening. Arrived on set every single day of his few days that he filmed, and was straight away into arguments. Hated the script. He was terrible. But the movie itself, and when you watch him, he's great as Montgomery. He's brilliant. He still burns through the screen. He still believes everything he's saying and everything he's doing. And he's playing a wacky guy as well. And you've got Marlon Brando, another absolute hellraiser there as well. Really awkward to work with. So you've got the two of them firebrands in there. Richard Stanley, love you, mate, but God, what the hell were you thinking? Although Brando was kind of forced upon him. But weirdly enough, they wanted Bruce Willis to begin with, and Bruce Willis got served divorce papers by Demi Moore at the time, so he backed out of the movie. And then Val Kilmer steps in, and Joanne Whalley Kilmer then serves him divorce papers. So Val Kilmer blamed that for his behaviour. So he got, basically, Richard Stanley got sacked because of that, because of all this. You couldn't control your own main star. You gave in to him, you capitulated. So they fired him and brought in John Frankenheimer. But afterwards, Richard Stanley did go on set in costume and was there and observing things, because the rest of the cast and crew wanted him there because it's his project, his dream baby. And at the premiere, he was there. Val Kilmer was there, and Val Kilmer bumped into him and gave him a massive hug and was really apologetic. Now, the reason why I've mentioned that extensively there is because Richard Stanley wrote a truly wonderful tribute on Facebook, and it's probably another medium as well, like yesterday, about Val Kilmer, saying about how I first saw you. I met you when you were making Heat, then I saw you, Batman Forever, and then we met several times, and I could see this light around you, which to me signified power. You walk the walk, you talk the talk. You've got this thing. You're dangerous, but I want that danger. I need that. If you can capture that, it is literally lightning in a bottle. And as I say, I mentioned a few names before, like Robert Shaw and Richard Harris, Oliver Reed, David Hemmings. There's a few others, select Russell Crowe, a select few who are wild cards, very demanding. But once you've got them and they commit, even for 5 minutes, that 5 minutes is absolute gold and better than everybody else in the business. That's how good they are. So you've got to be brave enough to accept them in a role. But Val Kilmer wasn't always like this. He'd make films like Thunderheart, which he had a real sort of passion behind. And, excuse me a moment. Real Genius, Top Secret. So comedies with like anarchic bent to them. And he loved all those. Top Gun again, God, what else? I've written a few down here. The Saint was a bad mistake. The big budget, was it a big budget? It was the big screen version, the modern sort of mid-90s screen version of the old Roger Moore TV show, The Saint. And it was diabolical. It not down to Val Kilmer, it was down to, of course, just the director, and the action was appalling. The story went nowhere, and it was so super lackluster. So you can't blame Val Kilmer for that. Willow, Mad Martigan, because it's the one where he met his wife to be, and they made another couple of movies afterwards, I think. But Mad Martigan was outstanding. A gung-ho, courageous, cocksure, kind of, I'm bigging myself up. I don't want to commit to this crusade, but hey, I'm a thief, I'm a bandit, I know, and I'm a mercenary, I just want this, but I've also got a heart. Damn it, curse this heart of gold of mine. It's always been my undoing, and he's great. I'm not the biggest fan of the film Willow. I like it a lot, but I don't go back to it. A lot of the fantasy films of that era, it's not amongst them that I go to, I'll be honest. But great score by James Horner. You might hear a bit, it's probably here somewhere. I've got a big playlist of Val Kilmer's movies, although I did a lot from The Ghost in the Darkness. Let's talk about that. Based on the true story of the Lions of Savo, these were maneless lions. Didn't have a mane. Lionesses have no mane, but these were male lions that had no mane, and they were trying to build a railroad. It was an Irish guy, Patterson, British Army engineer, who was sent out there to build this railroad. But lions were killing off people left, right, and centre. Two male lions. And this just doesn't happen. This is historical fact. A lot of rumours, a lot of speculation how many they killed. Some say 400. Yes, they do say that. Most agree it's like 140, maybe 150 to 60 were killed. But they were killing men. They were taking them out and having fun doing it. They weren't eating for survival. They were eating out of the sheer pleasure. So Val Kilmer gets the role of the Irish railway engineer. Also, he can be a bit of a big game hunter as well, like not big gay hunter, that would be wrong, but big game hunter. So he's proficient with weaponry and tactics, but everything they do doesn't stop the lions continuing to attack. They can hire sharpshooters, it doesn't matter, have hides up in trees, and the lions will still take these guys out. Nothing they do is going to stop the onslaught of the lions until Remington, Michael Douglas, gets involved, and then the two of them double up and they quest after these lions. They kill one, and then in revenge, after toasting the celebration out on the savannah, they're out toasting that night, and they go back to their respective tents. The other lion comes back and shreds Michael Douglas. So then you had the final shootout. Well, I say shootout and lion out with Val Kilmer and the last lion. And for its time, you're talking around about this is the late 90s, and you'd had the likes of The Mummy, which you look back on The Mummy now, the Brendan Fraser one, Stephen Summers. The CG's ropey. It's too obvious. It's too cartoonic. And this film has some great prosthetic effects, great mechanical lions, but also a little bit of ropey CG elements as well. But the film itself is fucking magnificent. And I love Michael Douglas in it, but I love Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer can wear his long hair, he can wear short hair. This is Iceman had the big sort of fluffy, high, flat top. Kind of the Americanized version of what Ivan Drago has in Rocky IV, Dolph Lundgren, but that's severe, and it's like but looks great, bleach blonde, looks amazing. But Iceman, Val Kilmer in Top Gun, has a kind of fluffier version, but it still looks fucking awesome. And in this, you can see, I don't know if you probably can't see properly, but in the light here, but it's massively sunny out there, so I'm trying to get the sunlight out but keep lights on, and I always get this wrong anyway, but we persevere. But he has like this sort of similar but sweaty look, so it's like Iceman just with like his hair's a bit sweaty because it's in Africa, for God's sake, and but he looks amazing. And there's a couple of sequences which I think are standout, and Val Kilmer nails them. He can't take a shot at one line earlier on, and it's a really super exciting sequence, and he can't do it. He freezes, and in that moment he could have been killed. So he's lucky he survives that moment, but he learns a vital lesson from that, from Remington. You just got hit. The getting up is up to you, which is what you'll hear. It's a bit of a mantra. But he has a wife. He has a wife, you know. And she's preggers. And he has a dream, although you don't know it at the time. And she gets off the train. They keep building this railway to certain points. And but the Lions keep taking out all the workers and all this. And he has this dream, although you don't know it. And she arrives and she's walking toward, and he's running towards her. It's a super romantic moment. It's all sunlit, and suddenly you see a tail in the long grass, like the shark fin. That's how they did it. It was devised like we want to make it look as demonic and frightening as the dorsal fin of a shark in Jaws. So the little flicking tail of a lion coming towards someone, and like, oh my god, and it runs up, and he's like, ah. And it gets it, and it chomps. She's like, ah, and it chomps into her shoulder, takes it down. He's like, no. It's a dream. It's a nightmare. And at the end of the movie, they have a reprise of that. It's almost identical, and but she's got his son with her. He hasn't seen his son yet. His bouncing baby boy. He's been out there for a few months now. And Remington, Michael Douglas' character, said, you know, when you get your son, you hold him high. You know, this Lion King, you know, Mufasa and all that, like, you know, Simba, you know, you hold him high. So you get this sequence where she's coming off the train and she's got the baby with her, and he's running towards her, and he's all like super excited, and he stops because, oh no, I've seen this before. And I love how he does this. His face just changes, and he looks to the long grass, and there's no lion's tail anywhere, and then his smile broadens, and the two hug, and he holds his son high. Lovely moment. In a great action adventure horror thriller is what it is. It's very like Jaws in the same way, you know, action, horror, monster, thriller, adventure, you know, and it works. I massively, wholeheartedly recommend The Ghost of Darkness, which has still not been released properly. You got it on DVD, but where's the big proper Blu-ray or UHD of it? It isn't there. There's foreign ones, like, but we still await that movie. And it's a Val Kilmer. Michael Douglas is great, but Val Kilmer definitely owns that film. Batman. He played Batman as well. Batman Forever. Joel Schumacher. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Joel Schumacher also did Batman and Robin with George Clooney. And the nipples on the Batsuit. What the hell? Men don't need nipples anyway. What the hell do we have nipples for? Why? I've got two of them, and they stick out all the fucking time. And they're loud and proud. I hate them. I want to cut them off and put them on a fucking cracker with some chili sauce. Get rid of them. I hate the bloody things. They're useless. And if anyone gets romantic and starts nibbling away, they've never been into that. Love bites, hickeys, fuck that. Don't like it. You bite me, well, I'll put a stake through your heart. It's as simple as that. No, there's bits I like, but not nibbly, bitey things. And so why the fucking hell would you put nipples on a bathsuit? In the Val Kilmer one, he does turn around, and yes, you've got the butt shot. What was Joel Schumacher thinking? You know, who was that? Who were these shots and ideas really for? Doesn't matter. Because it's great. Tim Burton's Batman and Batman Returns are the demigods of the Dark Knight in movies, apart from the Chris Nolan movies, obviously, especially the Dark Knight, which is just thoroughly outstanding in every capacity. But it's a detective show. It's not really a superhero movie. It's a crime thriller. But you got Batman Forever. And it's great because it's really OTT. It's colourful, it's garish. Let's put some of the music on. It is here. Chris O'Donnell, who's going to become Robin. And you've got Harvey Two-Face, played by, oh, I forgot his sodding name, craggy faced, oh, he's in a million and more movies. and I forgot his sort name. Ah, well, whatever. And he's great. You'll drive, thank you. He's super brilliant. Holy rusted metal, Batman. What? It's holy and rusted metal, Batman. Okay. But Val Kilmer, as Bruce Wayne, is suave enough, sophisticated enough. Yeah, you've got what's-her-face from Australia. She's alright, isn't it? As Chase Meridian. And you've got I forgot everyone's name now all of a sudden. Canadian comic, you know him, anarchic, massive faces, Ace Ventura as Edward Nygma. And Mr. Wayne, I love you, and he's shaking his hand for ages. You know, Ed, I'm gonna need that hand back, you know. But he's great. I have a really good time with Batman Forever. It is, whereas Tim Burton's movies were gothic, excess, which is what we love about Tim Burton, of course, and it works for Batman. But Batman can be so many things. It can be bright, overt, garish, neon lit, pure cartoon, comic book excess. And that's what Joel Schumacher strove for. He went too far and screwed it all up with Batman and Robin. He did. I long to find entertainment value in it. Because you've got Bane in there. Bane looking like the comic book version of Bane, but it just doesn't work. Clooney doesn't do it at all. It's awful. So no. But Batman Forever, wow, that is so, it's still great in its own way. And I love how, you know, Val Kilmer plays it. Of course, he would reprise it, sort of, semi, for Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Oh, don't go thinking I'm a fan of Jay and Silent Bob or Kevin Smith. I am not. But I did see him in a revamped, remade Batsuit. Well, he does wear like a big coat over the top of it as well. And he puts the cowl feather up so you can see his much fatter face. But it's nice that he did it. He came back and it was a big, wow, yes. It's Val Kilmer. He was Batman, you know. It was a nice touch there. Heat. Michael Mann's Heat. Yeah. De Niro. As I said, I couldn't find anything really apart from these lobby cards for any movie posters of Val Kilmer. So, but you've got Al Pacino, Mr. Al Pacino, ladies and gentlemen, is in the film Heat. A magnificent crime thriller. Michael Mann really owns that movie. It's every scene has his hallmark all over it. Great characters, great neon lit, great daylight scenes, great action, thunderous staccato action scenes, and you know, Val Kilmer playing Chris Shihellis, who's De Niro's best man, his right hand man, mercenary enforcer, brilliant with an AR-15. The celebrated sequence, the bank robbery that goes wrong because you've got Pacino's and all his crew, including Wes Studi, a real Native American, again, who's also in Thunderheart. Is he in Thunderheart? I think he is. Russell Means is in there and Graham Greene are in there, who are big Native American activists in Thunderheart. But they close down on him and you get the big fully auto shootout on the streets of LA. Really powerful, thunderous stuff. And of course, who did that? Yes, you may know him as Andy McNabb, SAS superstar. Some of us know him by different names, as in his real names. Oh, real name. Steve. He went by Dave Mitchell for a long time, but it's Steve actually. And he, you know, trained them. And he loves to talk about this. Well, oh, I trained them, did all the firepower and the magazine changes and the tactics, taking the battle towards the enemy, which they do really superbly well. Val Kilmer nails this. AR-15 and his magazine change it's gone down in history. Oh, they showed it at Fort Bragg, they showed it everywhere. You know, this is the textbook of how to, in the middle of a firefight, change your magazine straight away, slap it in, and begin firing again. Don't wish that. Don't jump around with it. No, just like eject the magazine, slam another one in, close it down, bang, 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 straight away. Done within about 2 seconds, less than 2 seconds, and you're back up firing again. And Val Kilmer did it. We have Keanu Reeves, John Wick. Keanu Reeves can do anything. He can. The training he puts into his John Wick movies is just beyond belief. Any weapon at all, be it knives, revolvers, swords, cars as weapons, fully auto weapons, shotguns. He can use anything. He trains. But Val Kilmer did as well. And he learned how to do this and do it in, crackerjack timing, the way that you would have to do it in real active fire combat situation. Nails it and gets standing applause by armed forces. Wow, that's how you do it. But it's important that a film star learned that and puts it on screen to show you, like, well, I'm not just acting, I can do this shit as well. And this is how you should do it. Brilliant. He went through further training for the film Spartan. Good many years afterwards. Not a great film. Is he CIA in that? I can't remember now. I've got the film. I didn't really enjoy it, I'll be honest. Again, not because of him, but because the film itself is just not that involving, despite his best efforts. And he trained with American Special Forces for that role, so he went through a lot more. So even though he has this reputation as being a bit of a bad lad, a bit of a renegade, a maverick, if you pardon the expression, he could still come up with the goods and be spectacularly powerful and do the role as the real character would do it. He isn't just showboating. I'm Val Kilmer. I'm just playing this role. I am this role. So where are we going next? My favourite role of his, and I think probably of many people as well, Tombstone. Opposite, not opposite, alongside Kurt Russell playing Wyatt Earp. You've got Sam Elliott, you've got Bill Paxton, you've got Powers Booth, and you've got Michael Biehn. Thomas Hayden Church is in there as well somewhere. A massive all-star cast, an action-packed epic western. At the same time that what's his face from Dances with Wolves, Kevin Costner, was doing his version on the Wyatt Earp legend called Wyatt Earp, which is a good film. It's a great film, but it's nowhere near as exciting or nowhere near as entertaining as Tombstone. Let's get a bit of Tombstone. I've got some of this here. And he plays Doc Holliday, the real-life gunslinger, gambler, dentist, who died at the age of 36, suffered from tuberculosis all of his life because he looked after his mother and his sister for his early years, who both had tuberculosis. So he was suffering with it. But it didn't stop him loving life, gambling, drinking, having fun. He claims to have killed, I think, about 40 men. Like the Lions of Savo, it's a bit of a, the general consensus is he killed 3, but there's another 4 or 5 that could be down to him. Guns and a knife as well. And but Val Kilmer plays Doc Holliday, who joins and becomes deputised alongside ex-lawman Wyatt Earp and his family's brothers Virgil and Morgan, who go up against the Clantons and other rogue elements, the cowboys, and they wear a red sash. The next time I see a red sash, I kill the man wearing it, says Kurt Russell, in rage. You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me. Kurt Russell, it's a film of big moustaches, and Kurt Russell fucking owns it. But, and my favourite actor is Kurt Russell, as you guys know. But it doesn't matter. I'm afraid he's upstaged completely by Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday, who tuberculoserized and drunk half the time, limping, coughing, gasping, bit of phlegm coming out, little handkerchief there. very sallow and sickly looking, but still uber fucking cool. Plays the piano, and what is it now? Thomas Hayden Church as is it Billy Clanton? I think it is. And he goes, they've already had a few set twos. Johnny Ringo, Michael Biehn, has had see how I called him Biehn then? I really have a problem saying Michael Biehn. I can say Sean Bean, but Michael Biehn, because when I first saw him in Terminator and Aliens, and you've got an I in there, it doesn't say, it's not written as B-E-A-N, Bean, it's B-I-E-H-N. Is it something like, there's an H in there somewhere. That's B-N as far as I'm concerned, but no, it's Michael Biehn. So I have a problem saying that. But anyway, he plays Johnny Ringo, who existed. He was a real character. They all were. And he's had a few set twos with Lunger, because you're coughing and wheezing, you're Lunger, you got cancer, you got tuberculosis, you've got all sorts of shit going wrong with you. And he's a right nasty piece of work, is Johnny Ringo. But also Thomas Hayden Church is like, he's had a few words as well. So after one set two, they're out in the street, but our boy Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday comes out and says like, "And you, music lover," he's a deep southerner. I'm mangling the deep southern accent there. "And you, music lover." And he turns around, Hayden Church, and just goes like, "It's the drunk pianist. He's so drunk he can't hit nothing. I bet he's seeing double." And the classic line, he just goes like, this is Doc Holliday, "I have 2 guns, 1 for each of you." That brought the house down. And of course, "I'm your Huckleberry. What's up, Johnny? So you look like someone's walked over your grave." Outstanding. And he will have a final shootout with Johnny Ringo and put a bullet straight through Ringo's head. Not Ringo from the Beatles, obviously. But he's like, and Michael Biehn, see what it did? He's shoved it around, and Doc Holliday's going like, come on. It's like, he's dead, but still walking. It's brilliant. He owns that role. He is witty, erudite, comical, plays the piano, gambles, drinks. His camaraderie with Wyatt with Kurt Russell is touching. Their final scene, because Wyatt goes and finds his friend who's on his deathbed, and he's there for basically the end. And it's just, I forget the line now, which is horribly stupid of me. I'll meet you somewhere down the road. Something like that anyway. And it's just beautiful. And he does it so supremely well. That, for me, is his most in-depth, believable, likeable character I've ever seen him play. And Tombstone is a great movie for a lot of different reasons. Everybody's great in it. The build-up to the shootout is fantastic. Because the gunfights are okay throughout. Everyone thinks, oh, the shootout, that's it, that's the culmination. There's been many films beforehand which have ended with that sequence. They've built up to it and ended with that sequence. In reality, it went on far longer than that. There was much more that happened afterwards. And lots of skullduggery and swapped allegiances and hunting and assassinations. Loads of stuff happened. And Tombstone covers all that. And it does it really, really well. But by far, it is Val Kilmer's performance as Doc Holliday, which is what you walk away from remembering, and sort of, you're quoting him. Although Kurt Russell's got a few good quotes in there too, like "Hell's coming with me" and all this kind of stuff. But Val Kilmer fucking owns it. So, the Iron and Dr. Moreau. Yeah. Well, as I say, he embraced Richard Stanley at the premiere of that movie, and professed massive apologies for what he'd done. And Richard Stanley's epitaph and tribute to Val Kilmer is brilliant. I would have read it out to you, but I didn't. I stupidly didn't put it on the screen, so I can't do it right now. But it's wonderfully written, and it's from Richard Stanley's heart. But he nails the epitome of what made Val Kilmer such a Hollywood icon. Maybe industry insiders didn't like him. They knew he was trouble. If you get him on set, he's trouble. You've got to really lock him down. You'll get great stuff, but my God, it'll be on his terms. So good luck to you. But Richard Stanley saw, this is what I want. I want someone who has that raw energy, which I can't really control. And he says in his epitaph, his tribute, that maybe the two of us met. He said, I saw the best, I saw the light in you, and I saw the darkness in you as well. I saw the best and the worst of you. Maybe at that particular time, the two of us flew too close, like Icarus, to the sun. And but we both learned what lessons that needed to be learned. And he goes on more, but you can tell this was a really pivotal time in both their lives, and things didn't work out. They went spectacularly wrong, especially for Richard Stanley, but also for Val Kilmer, because his reputation as being a troublemaker was cemented. It had been beforehand, but it was cemented there. And pretty much, although he did a lot of stuff afterwards, a lot of TV work, theatre work, he was on stage as well. So that's the mark of a good actor, is can you act on stage as well? You know, it's all well and good, you can do take after take. You can be a pretty boy, pretty girl, you can pounce and you can do maybe some kickboxing stuff, but can you actually deliver your lines? Well, we all think we can do it, but a lot of us can't. And you can see in movies, a lot of them can't do it. So you have to do take after take after take. And they're naff. There's no delivery there at all. If you can act on stage and still keep playing night after night without getting ousted, that's real acting. If you can act and there's no chance of redoing it, you've got to just get on with it, simple as. If you fuck up, you've got to salvage what you can and carry on. And hopefully the audience doesn't even notice. But then you take that to before the cameras, you're even better again. That's how it works. That's acting, folks. And he could do it. As I say, his project was going to be Mark Twain. Write, produce, direct it, star in it. He'd done Mark Twain things before, for TV and on stage. But this was going to be the big opus. This was going to be, and it's going to get him back into acting again. In only 65. That's just nothing. And then he gets pneumonia and dies. That's, horribly tragic. The very fact that you go on social media since yesterday, I heard about this. Oh God, I was awake at about 5 a.m. yesterday morning. I was awake 5 this morning as well, and I was straight away on my phone. That was the first thing I saw. Val Kilmer, R.I.P. I was like, you're fucking joking. Checked into it. Don't just look on Facebook, because that's a lot of bullshit comes up on Facebook. But yeah, it was true. And then on every social media platform that I went on, literally every post or every other post was people, oh my God, we lost Val Kilmer, R.I.P. God, I loved him. So for a guy that had such an antagonistic, almost hostile, difficult persona to work with, look at the adoration that the fans and audiences around the world had for him. It says a lot, doesn't it? He was absolutely loved and people were devoted to him, even though he hadn't done many great big things in the last few years. And a lot of what he had done, he might be a supporting role, but he's still memorable in each and every one. So people had this long-standing, deep adoration and devotion to him. He was a Hollywood icon, even though that's the exact thing he wouldn't have liked. I'm sure he'd love to stay on his ranch in Santa Fe with his 2 buffalo. He lost Joanne Wally Kilmer. They got divorced. But as far as I know, he was exceptionally close to his daughter. I think his son, Jack, he's called Jack. They remained very close. It's his daughter that broke the news. Mercedes Kilmer broke the news about what happened to her father. So it's, without a doubt, it's incredibly sad. Have we played any at all of Dr. Moreau? We'll play a little bit now. Gary Chang did the score for this. was Elliot Goldenthal doing the Batman Forever score, which is outstanding. I love that score. It's really heightened and OTT, you know, matching Schumacher's visuals. It's the car. Chicks love the car. Edward Nigma. But he could apply himself to any role. For me, Chris Shihalis in Heat is outstanding. Patterson in Ghost in the Darkness is a truly believable hero who's flawed and will have to reconcile his own weaknesses to get bigger and better and strong enough and courageous enough to win the day. And he's exceptional at that. Like, and he looks his best, I think, in that movie. Iceman doesn't do a hell of a lot in that movie, let's be honest. But if you can take some of the shine and gleam of the Cruiser's pearly whites, you know, and claim it as your own, people may come away remembering, like Kaneki in Grease. Danny Zuko's great, but you want to be Kaneki because he's more of a renegade. Kaneki's more fun. He's a bit more unpredictable. Iceman, who's not unpredictable, is cooler. Ice. What's cooler than ice? Ice cool, you know. He's uber cool, and you come away from Top Gun. You want to be a little short ass fucking maverick, but Iceman, you're like, oh no, he's the best. And of course, as they say, who's the best pilot? Who's the best pilot? Well, we all know, don't we? But Val Kilmer, another one of these horrible shockers. We get him a lot these days. A lot of actors. We lost Richard Chamberlain the other day, but he was old. I mean, that's, you know, it's still a shame to lose great talent, great stars. But you've reached a certain age. You know, it's run your course. You know, it's the way it's going to go. And we've lost many others recently. It's been awful time. But to lose someone at this age, someone who was actually going to make a return, and can you imagine where he could have gone? Other roles he could have played if he's using his AI voice technology. What would it matter? What would it genuinely matter? If he could invest and he'd learned so much. He did a great big documentary called Val, about his entire life, his upbringing, the brother he lost, his family, where everywhere he's lived, his acting, and all the movies he'd been in, and he was very candid about the trouble that he himself caused and difficulties that he had. But he went through the entire throat cancer thing as well, and he described everything that he felt and all the traumas and the fears and the angst and the hope and everything about that huge, you know, God forbid any of us face that, but sadly too many of us do and possibly will do. But he had the courage to talk about it when he'd been such a good looking guy, the hero and all that, like, to talk about your body completely failing for you and facing possibly the end of your life. He did it superbly well, and spoke out for a lot of people suffering this sort of thing. And then to get over it and to come back and think, well, you know, I've learned a lot from that. Maybe he would have been a different person. He wouldn't have been quite so, I don't know, hostile, difficult to work with. Everyone wants a quiet life, don't they? You can imagine a film set, and you've got actors, and you've got people who've got egos. You've got all this coming in, and you've got to be in charge of reining in. Oh, you're an actor who just wants to do the job, but you've got someone making life difficult. I'm not going to say these lines. These lines are terrible. Your vision of this is just crap. I'm not doing it. Walking off. We've got a film today. Look, it's costing money. Get back. Please get back here. And everyone else just start the cast and crew, lighting, you know, catering, makeup, just standing by. This is wasting our time because of one person. But when that one person comes up with the goods, even for 5 golden moments of the shoot, suddenly you've nailed absolute lightning in a bottle, pure magic. Val Kilmer had that. And I got a feeling that Val Kilmer would have look back on his life and some of the misdoings and the sort of the wrong aspect, the wrong mindset he may have had, no matter how the outcome may have been, and he could have gone like, yeah, I've been close to like going out here, but now I'm positive and I want to get back into it. And he could well have been more focused and like, I'm older now, I'm quieter, there's certain roles I can't do, there's many more roles I can do, and I want to do them, and I've got a feeling he really would have shone again very brightly in a different sort of style. And it is a fucking shame, it really is. He was born December 31st 1959, died April the 1st 2025. Yeah. Oh, it's a Colt Model 733. I thought I said that before, didn't I? I called it a Colt AR. I called it an AR-15, didn't I? It's a Colt Model 733 he uses in heat. So for those of you who are gonna like lambast me, Andy McNabb, Steve, yeah, you especially, yeah. Well, I've corrected myself now. Oh damn it! Even Val Kilmer's going like, oh you meant to know your stuff. Damn it, I make mistakes too. But Val Kilmer, I have nothing stronger than a cold cup of tea right now. But I've already had a few whiskies and I'll have a few more. And I'm going to do it for you. Fabulous actor. Loved you and loved your performances in everything. Even some films which are absolute crap, Saints. But that isn't, and Spartan isn't that good. But you could see you were investing a lot. Every scene that you're in and on camera, you're magnetic. You're gone, but you sure as hell ain't forgotten. Cheers. And you can be my huckleberry anytime, honestly. So folks, I have been always shall be KILT-MAN, so please in the meantime, if ever like, doff your cap, quaff a drink, say a prayer for Val Kilmer in between time. Please keep it kilted, keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all later. And maybe think about some of the people that you know. Maybe it's in a pub or it's, you know, a social club or whatever, and sometimes they're a bit OTT and they can be a bit insulting, and then the next time you see them they're a bit insular and they're kind of quiet. You've got to remember, there's a lot of stuff going on, and if the world is a stage, then we are all actors, and some people like to deliver a performance even in everyday life. I'm guilty of this as well. When I put my earphones in, I start strutting around, even with the severe limp which I've got right now, as you guys well know about. Which, yeah, I had a good day yesterday. Today, I kind of regressed. But when I'm at my height, you know, I will strut around and I'll inhabit characters, albeit in my head. I'll be Snake Plissken, I'll be McCready, I'll be Rambo, I'll be Conan. Yeah, Conan. I'll be Tarzan. I'll be whatever I want to be. And I'll inhabit that for a while. And people can testify to this. I'll arrive in the pub and I'll start quoting these characters and speaking like I imagine they would speak. And I'll be a different person. But I'm having fun doing it. And the people that get onto that, they realise, they go, I get what you're doing. I'm not quite sure who you're doing, but I get what you're doing. And I like it because it's just spontaneity and it works. But people like Val Kilmer, they play a character, you know, for a job. But I'm sure as hell they do it in real life as well. Everyone has an up day, a bad day, or even a portion of day where they're up and down. And that's what we're all like. So don't judge, you know. Some of the best things that we do are done out of moments of perhaps spite, indecision, rage, misplaced anger, but you deliver the best results during that phase. If you could focus that phase and right, no matter what, I'm gonna make that work all the time. I'm happy, I'm gonna make it work. I'm really sad, I'm still gonna make that work. You can switch that button on. Brilliant. It's not the case. Been talking too long, you see. A little raspy cough makes this little ugly reappearance, does it not? Right, I'm going. There is a huge box over there from Astrodyne. You know him, you love him. No, that's the wrong tagline. Astrodyne, your friend of mine. Astrodyne, a traveller in time, has sent a great big crate. I know one thing that's in there, and you guys are going to fucking love it. The next video will be unboxing that. So it's just sitting over yonder, just there, teasing me. Open me now, open me now. Don't go back to the pub, KILT-MAN. Don't go back to the pub thinking you're Jim Morrison from The Doors. You can't sing. Not with that little cough of yours, you can't. Fucking can sing. I've got a voice like a goose farting in the fog. And it attracts other geese, you know. Right, folks, I'm out of here. So, for Val Kilmer, we salute you, sir. We all feel the need for speed, and you're the best pilot.